Well, hello everybody. I'm back, and this is chapter 11. And as we did with chapter 10, we probably won't be doing all the slides in chapter 11. So I'll call out which ones are important, and this will be the final chapter for the exam. So this will be on valuation methods for venture capital, right? So basically, we're going to look at venture capital methods. And relate that to more formal equity valuation methods and how many shares are going to be issued. But again, I'll call out what slides are important and what slides are not important. Okay, so the venture capital method estimates the venture's value by projecting only a terminal flow to investors at the investors at the exit event. So you can see the words terminal flow when the company's either done or everything's being harvested, and basically there'll be modifications to that, right? And it'll introduce additional rounds of financing and some kind of incentive compensation. All right, so basically we're going to look at shortcuts. So basically cash investment today, and then you have, of course, what your return is at some future time. And you could also discount this return flow back at the venture investor's target return, right? The investor's going to want some target return, and you're going to see if you've met that. All right, and then then you do a present value calculation here, right? And then you look at the percent ownership that you have to sell in order to expect to provide the venture's target return. So here's some examples, right? The venture was formed with 2 million shares held by the founders. The new investors added $1 million for new shares, and it's a 5-year horizon. Okay, that when you get out, and basically here's the demand. The investors demand, right, a 50% annualized return, and the venture is expected to have an income of $1 million per year at exit. So that's an assumption, right? A lot of these are assumptions. And a similar venture was basically sold to the public for $20 million, right? Sold shares to the public. So basically, you can see this similar venture grew if you're going to do a comparison. So this they sold shares for $20 million. And here's the similar venture's income, which is $2 million per year. So here's the $1 million for new shares, and here's they sold shares for to the public for $20 million. So we're going to compare this company to a similar venture in their industry. So if you look here, here's an equation that just basically the acquired percent final ownership, and basically here's the PE ratio, right? And basically here is the E5 refers to the $1 million, right? For the after the 5th year at exit. Everyone see that venture income at exit per year at exit, and that's there. And here is the 50% return, and here's the 5 years, and this is how much of the 5% final ownership you get. And again, it's all just a plug-in here. And you'll notice you'll notice here there's a 10 and a 1, right? So you basically have you want the similar venture. Here's 20 million and 2 million, so that's a 10 to 1 ratio. All right, that's of your similar venture. And this will tell you the amount of shares that you have to issue. And again, if we plug in here, And you just plug into these equations. Here's the acquired percent we just calculated, and here's 1 minus that. And the shares to be issued would be 6 million, to be similar to the other company, if you want a value compared to the other company. So you would have 6.3 million shares to be issued if you wanted to value that. And this would be the issue share price, right? 15 cents a share. Simply divide the number of shares into the 1 million. All right, we've seen this already. We have pre-money valuation, right? This was in the previous chapter. And post-money valuation. These are important definitions here. So this is the present value of a venture prior to a new money investment. And this is the valuation plus the money injected by new investors. And we've seen that definition already. So here's the calculation they do with the numbers we have to get the pre-money valuation, which was 316. You'll notice here they added an extra. Here's the 1 million with the new money that's been ingested into the company. And here is the return between the financing and the exit. And that's the founder percentage, which is 24. And here's the investor percentage between financing and exit. And that's like almost 76%. So you can see the breakdown after the first round financing. Here's the investor, and here's the actual founder. And of course, this will add up to 100. This is pre and this is post, right? Okay, so this definition of staged financing. This is financing that's provided, just the way it sounds, in sequences of rounds rather than all at one time. So that's an important idea. And it's just what it sounds like, staged, right? And the capitalization rate is the spread between the discount rate and the growth rate of cash flow in a terminal value period. All right, so this stuff here, you don't have to worry too much about. These are just earning multipliers. I wouldn't get too bogged down with this kind of stuff. There's just a little bit too much math here. So again, I didn't cover a lot of these in class. I only covered up to about slide, right, really up to about slide 12. So this is pretty much, that's all that you have to really worry about with regard to chapter 11. Okay, the rest of the stuff, basically, I wouldn't give too much consideration to. Just a lot of mathematics. Alrighty. So other than that, this should be it for chapter 11.